5 days left for Christmas shopping, 5 days left to fill those stockings. Well, for some persons, others are more interested in spending time with family, relaxing at the beach, and just enjoying the cool Christmas breeze. On today's pages, we continue to celebrate the Yuletide season with our children. They'll show us how to prepare a Christmas meal on a limited budget. Also in the half hour, taste, see, feel, experience Jamaica. I'm Adrian Atkinson. Those and much more in just a few minutes.
The Ebola virus is transmitted through direct contact with an infected person's blood or other bodily fluids like saliva, urine, stool, and semen. Symptoms of Ebola include sudden fever, intense weakness, muscle pain, headache, and sore throat. This may be followed by vomiting, diarrhea, and rash, and in some cases both internal and external bleeding, leading to death. Protect yourself. Avoid travel to Ebola-affected countries. Avoid contact with infected persons. Don't touch the body of someone who has died from Ebola. Wash hands frequently with soap and water and use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer. To know more, call 1-888-663-5683.
Good day, I'm Carrie Ann Smith, and this is your GIS News for Friday, December 19. Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller has expressed her confidence in and commitment to the Partnership for Jamaica process.
I want to publicly declare my personal commitment and that of the government to the dialogue with all sectors of the society through the Partnership of Jamaica.
The Prime Minister's declaration follows a meeting of the National Council of the Partnership for Jamaica on Tuesday. Among other things, that meeting discussed the NHT's recent acquisition of the Orange Grove property.
I believe that out of those frank and open discussions, we have moved closer to reducing the emotional reactions and understanding the facts of the situation, as well as the views and opinions of each other.
Mrs. Simpson-Miller says the members restated their commitment to the partnership and agreed to take steps to strengthen its structure. Going forward, it was agreed that the Consultation Code of Practice for the Public Sector, issued in 2005, will be embedded in the operations of ministries and agencies. They also discussed ways to improve reporting relationships between agencies and ministries of government.
I am instructing that the Ministry of Finance and Planning provide a comprehensive update to the Partnership on the Public Bodies Management Accountability Act and the status of work being undertaken to improve the public sector governance framework.
The Prime Minister was speaking on Wednesday at a titling ceremony in Clarendon. 40 residents were presented with the land titles to the Havana Heights Housing Scheme Phase 3 by the Ministry of Transport, Works and Housing. Finance Minister Dr. Peter Phillips says business activity is increasing in the nation's capital, evidence that government's economic reform program is bearing fruit.
About a month ago, we had some persons visiting from overseas to the Ministry of Finance. They couldn't get a hotel room in Kingston. Such is the demand for hotel rooms, especially as we are seeing a growth in business activity, a growth in tourism activity.
Dr. Phillips was speaking with the GIS News following a tour of the Marriott Hotel with the president of the Inter-American Development Bank IDB, Luis Alberto Moreno. The Marriott Hotel, which is located in New Kingston, is being developed by a group of local investors with support from the IDB. The hotel, which is being constructed at a cost of $1.75 billion, began in July 2013 and is expected to be opened in the summer of 2015. When completed, approximately 430 persons will be employed and more hotel rooms will be available to business interests in Kingston and St. Andrew. In the meantime, the Finance Minister and the IDB President also toured the Jamaica German Automotive School, which falls under the umbrella of the Hartrust NTA. The school provides training for students in the Steps to Work program through funding support from the IDB.
What you saw were youngsters on the STEP program, that is to say school leaving age, but who need skills, and they were all students on the PATH program who got these skills and are getting skills as mechanics, automotive engineers.
The 2014 calendar year so far has been marked by a decrease in the number of curfews imposed by the Jamaica Constabulary Force. There were 14 curfews ordered this year in comparison to the average annual figure of about 1,000. National Security Minister Peter Bunting says this is one of the strategies that have contributed to a major reduction in violent crimes across the island.
We've achieved it by doing less of a number of things. So we've had, we've virtually eliminated the use of curfews as a routine type measure. We have reduced the number of arrests. One of the things we've been trying to let people understand that it's not a matter of hard policing versus soft policing. What we're about is smarter policing.
The minister made the comments while speaking on issues and answers as he updated the nation on plans for heightened security in the festive season. The full interview with the minister can be seen this Sunday on this station on Jamaica Magazine. And finally, the Consumer Affairs Commission, CAC, has secured $32.5 million on behalf of aggrieved consumers so far this financial year. The Commission says it has also settled 919 of the 1,138 complaints received, representing an 81% resolution rate. The CAC's Chief Executive Officer, Dulcie Allen, says the most frequent complaints were in the categories of electrical equipment and appliances, motor vehicle and parts, and utilities.
We also encourage persons, if you're making high-value purchases, that you can call the CAC. For example, we would have a complete database, and if it is that you're buying a refrigerator, for example, or you're going to a particular vendor, you can ask us if it is that you have had challenges with this particular brand, with this particular vendor, and we will advise you.
Mrs. Allen was speaking at a recent JIS think tank. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Carrie Ann Smith. Thanks for watching.
Government health centers and hospitals have an adequate supply of paracetamols like Panadol and Cetamol to treat the chikungunya virus. Paracetamol in the public health sector is free of cost. For more on chikungunya and the medication, call the Ministry of Health toll-free at 1-888-1-LOVE. That's 1-888-663-5683. Mondays to Fridays, 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. A message from the Ministry of Health.
Before we go to our features associated with the Yuletide season, let's pause for a moment to reflect on the year 1944. That was the year of universal adult suffrage, when Jamaicans got a chance to vote. If you're a Jamaica Magazine regular, yesterday you would have seen part one of a school debate organized by the Electoral Commission of Jamaica to commemorate the 70th anniversary of universal adult suffrage. We now bring you part two of the debate. The motion: this House would institute mandatory voting in Jamaica.
Obviously, she needs to start by educating them over.
The status quo with improvements is what we posit today, Mr. Speaker.
We're well aware that the people are not satisfied with the status quo.
Why should voting be compulsory? Mr. Speaker, we are all aware that our present situation is less than desirable. This is due largely to certain decisions by the government in the past. I begin by saying that these slip-ups have caused too many Jamaican citizens to detach themselves from things political. Mr. Speaker, we cannot and will not allow our people to choose to sit at the back seat, silently watching as the sweet and beautiful land of food and water continues to drown in avoidable problems, especially when they can help. Our Jamaican citizens have long fought for their voices to be heard, and this reformation is granting just that. By implementing mandatory voting, we are indeed boosting democracy.
What the government is doing is infringing upon these rights that you have been given since the establishment of this country.
Point of information, sir.
Not accepted. Wouldn't mandatory voting only increase the selling of votes? Wouldn't one want to sell their votes to a higher bidder, and thus see what they can get out of the political situation?
Mr. Speaker, the opposition tried but failed miserably to support their arguments that mandatory voting should not be implemented in Jamaica. Our people are suffering from a false sense of democracy. The people are oblivious to the amount of power they wield, but if voting becomes mandatory, then they will be able to exercise their authority, Mr. Speaker. Persons who are voting are from a particular class. Then the person who is elected to rule the country, what they will impose in the country, it is not representative of what Jamaica wants overall. It's time for a change now. We cannot change the way things have always been by doing things the way they have always been done. Voting should be mandatory so that we can give the people a chance to be represented.
Mandatory voting, it violates our constitutional rights. Namely, Chapter 3, Section 13, Subsection 3, Paragraph B and C of the Jamaica Constitution. It states that everyone has a right to the freedom of thought, conscience, belief, observation of political doctrine. Mandatory voting opens the room for pork-barrel politics. It is the government going into neighborhoods and communities and offering them white rice and curry goat and tell them that vote for me, please.
Point of information.
Accepted.
Are you aware that pork-barrel politics happens as a result of polarization when only 50% controls the voting landscape? And if you legitimately have a masses voting, then the government cannot practice that sort of politics.
The government has said that they want to make voting mandatory. They're forcing persons who are incapable of making sound and knowledgeable political decisions to make one. If I'm not further needed, I'd like to end this.
We thought that we had today a very, very enthralling debate. The content was rich, the exchange was fierce, and the analysis was deep. We thought that a major issue in this debate was whether absence from the ballot box, refraining from voting, whether that is an unequivocal indication of apathy. Whether or not the fact that upwards of 50% of Jamaicans do not vote, whether we can say with certainty that the reason they are not voting is because they just don't care. The second challenge that we had to contend with was this question of the right to abstain versus some sense of civic responsibility. And then the idea of what are the prerequisites for such a policy like this. So we heard from opening government particularly that there's to be an extensive program of education and enlightenment. Good, we thought that both summer speakers God had a good enough appreciation as to what transpired in the debate. We're going to be having a tertiary champion and a secondary champion, and a tertiary second place as well as a secondary second place.
So the tertiary winner today is Opening Government, Northern Caribbean University. Our secondary winner is the Queen's School. We also have prizes for our tertiary and secondary runners-up. We'll present the tertiary runner-up to UTEC. We'll ask Mrs. Dorothy Pan McCarthy to present the secondary runner-up to Jamaica College.
It was an exciting opportunity, and it offers us a privilege to really debate things that are important, things that matters to our country.
Well, I think the competition was excellent. I believe that all the major points came out, the major points that Jamaicans, the average Jamaican should actually consider as it relates to mandatory voting.
You know, adult suffrage is something that was very important in our history, and today we really reap the benefits of that. And so we really understand the consequence and the need for talking about topics such as these.
I think good points came out from both sides. my team lost, so I'm not very pleased about that. But overall, it was very informative for us as debaters, and I'm sure for the majority of those who are here today in attendance.
Although I'm not yet sure as to which side I'm on in reality, it's definitely good to know both sides of the arguments and, not just jump to conclusions and say voting should not be mandatory because that's what we're accustomed to.
Well, I thought it was a good competition, as in we had a formidable opponents, as in Queen's High School for girls. They beat us already, but I'm not going to lie, it was a really good debate this time.
The first Noel.
May the peace of God be with you during this season, and best wishes for a happy new year from all of us at JIS.
And for those reasons and more, tourists normally gravitate to the beautiful island that is Jamaica, especially now that the winter tourist season is in high gear. But Jamaica is not only for tourists. We locals need to also enjoy sweet jam dong. Let's experience Jamaica together in this next feature.
Personally, when I was growing up, I would never consider vacationing in Jamaica because I always thought it was too expensive.
Accommodations in Destination Jamaica come in all shapes and sizes and cater to all pockets. Just a click on the JTB website can get you plugged into the links for villas, bed and breakfast spots, great houses, and a range of hotels. What attracts you to a vacation spot? White sand beaches, cascading waterfalls, sloping mountains, bustling marketplaces, sites rich in historic splendor, a culture that's second to none. From blue lagoons to mineral baths, Dolphins Cove to mystic trails, Destination Jamaica is far from short on attractions. How much do you know about Cousins Cove, where a Taino burial ground and cave paintings are said to be featured? Maybe a trip to this small inlet along the Hanover coastline is in order. Whether your flavor lies in fashionable events, big stage productions, nightclubs, heritage displays, or even, why not, a golf tournament, the destination that is Jamaica offers up a bevy of opportunities to exchange overtime excursions with production reports for exciting immersions into entertaining presentations. So, an out-of-office business retreat is needed to iron out a potentially profitable deal. You've got something new, something borrowed, and something blue. And all you need now is somewhere to showcase it all. From the Jamaica Conference Center in Kingston to the burgeoning Conference Center in Montego Bay, the island is packed with meeting and event venues for any occasion.
A lot of us grew up in Jamaica, we don't know even a quarter of the island. And I think it's in this time when the economy is so difficult, instead of taking our foreign exchange to go foreign, I think we should stay here and invest that money in Jamaica.
Not exactly your first concern when planning that dream vacation? Well, you're likely not the only one, but there is some value in recognizing that to vacation in Jamaica will benefit the local economy. That is likely to increase the chance of you affording to repeat that dream. So the next time you consider being bathed by the sun, drifting off to the lullaby of nature's breeze, toes dipped in cool blue waters, consider Jamaica. Because sometimes home, with its familiarity,
can offer up exquisite surprises and fun new opportunities. And just think, no language barrier to contend with.
So the children will be home for the holidays. And of course, if adults are not careful, they'll eat all the food in the house. Why not get them involved in the cooking process? Inexpensive nutritional Christmas meals from the little ones next.
It's the most wonderful time of the year, with the kids jingle belling and everyone telling you be of good cheer. It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Welcome to our Kiddies Cooking Challenge, a JIS Christmas special. Now you know food is a big component of the Christmas celebrations, and so we are finding ways to use everyday items around the kitchen to create a light Christmas meal that is scrumptious yet creative. With us today is Kaylin Murphy and Logan Samuels, who will be ably guided by Ms. Patrice Campbell, Culinary Arts Specialist at the Jamaica Cultural Development Commission, and Mr. Stephen Hamilton, CEO of SK Catering. Let's meet the chefs. Here are the instructions. It's a cooking challenge, right? So you're going to use the ingredients that we provide, and you're going to come up with a meal that is tasty and delicious, right? You have 1 hour. And with that, our young chefs got to cooking. How will they prepare something interesting and tasty from the simple items we have given them? Major ingredients on the list: macaroni, flour, seasoned chicken, bread, vegetables, spices, and of course, since it's Christmas, we cannot leave out the sorrel. What is it that you're planning on preparing today?
Well, I am planning on preparing a chicken pasta salad sort of dish.
Okay. So, is it something that you've tried before?
No, not really.
No? Okay. And how do you plan? Do you plan on incorporating the sorrel in that?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so we're gonna see how we incorporate sorrel, which is a popular Christmas beverage, into the meal. Good job, Kaylin. Logan, what are you doing? Stuffed chicken breast? Wow. So what are you gonna stuff the chicken breast with? Oh, these ingredients here? Okay. Good job, Logan. Good job.
Breadfruit roasting under open fire, cornmeal porridge on the stove. Invite your children to my home. Merry Christmas to you.
You know how to put the things?
Yes.
You know how to put the things safe?
Don't
stay too far. Don't be afraid. Hold it low. How many minutes? Remember?
9 to 10.
Awesome.
Stop.
Okay, all right. Ready?
Notice how Kaylin and Patrice are reducing the sorrel to use as a sauce? Stephen has also used it in the macaroni to change the color of the dish. That's just one smart way to use sorrel, and the rich red flavor fits perfectly with the festive season.
Take your time for that. All right,
Chefs, you have 10 minutes to go. 10 minutes. So whatever you're doing, please hurry up and get it finished. Time sure flies when you're having fun. And they certainly did, as they whipped up their fancy meals. Okay, chefs, time is up. Forks down, hands up. Good job. Woo! This is wonderful. Wonderful. High five. High five, Kaylin. Good job. So Kaylin, tell us about the dish that you have prepared for us today.
Okay, today I have a sorrel-based pasta with a onion bruschetta sourdough bread on the side. I used sorrel, pasta, chicken, bread, onions, tomatoes, carrots, green peppers, and lettuce.
Okay, I like that the pasta is al dente. The flavors are mild, but they're very, very nice. It complements the chicken that you have there. So I'm very happy with the presentation as well. And I like that you use our own sorrel, which is very Jamaican. And the bruschettas are very nice. The onion gives a nice sweet flavor on the top.
Wow, that's all I can say. Right? The hard-dough bread, the onion into it, the flavors of our natural seasoning, and the garnish on top. The flavors like an explosion in my mouth. I can't say any further. Congrats.
Next up is Logan, who was a bit shy at first. Eventually, she relaxed for our cameras. Stephen, you and Logan prepared a tasty meal. It looks very attractive. Tell us about it.
Logan and I paired. We did a tomato, carrot, pan-seared chicken breast, right? Floated on top of a deep-fried sorrel pasta, right? Served with a purity type of a sandwich.
So what were the main ingredients in Logan's meal?
Chicken
And the flavor of the sorrel, the flavor of the pasta, that wow factor they bring to this plate, and I thank you.
I like that, and I agree with Stephen. I like the textures that are there, and I like how she used the chicken in two ways. I like how she pan-seared one and she sauteed the other, and how she made the creation on the plate, the presentation was really good, and the flavors on the chicken, that sorrel glaze on top of the chicken was very, very nice, Logan. Congrats. You're welcome.
For you at home, you too can create amazing dishes like these this Christmas, making use of what you have.
Well, Jamaica, here again, buy Jamaica, eat Jamaica. Why not think of out of the box?
I know we have a lot of things at home that we wonder how we use it, you can always go online. It's always good to try the local produces that we have in various ways. It's always good to be creative and to get the vegetables in for the children. We have fun, creative ways to do that. You don't have to go all expensive. You can use the same chicken and fish that you would use every day and use them in more creative and fantastic ways.
For participating and being successful in this challenge, our young chefs were awarded a gift basket and a copy of the JIS Culinary Heritage publication. Copies were also given to our experts who shared in this fun experience with us. Now you see, you can economize this Christmas using everyday items in your kitchen to create meals that are scrumptious, delicious, and still creative, as our young chefs Kaylin and Logan demonstrated today with the help of Stephen Hamilton from SK Catering and Miss Patrice Campbell from the Jamaica Cultural Development Commission. This Christmas, make it a special one and a tasty one for you and your family. That's it for JIS Kiddies Cooking Challenge. I'm Tamara.
It's the most wonderful time of the year, with the kids jingle belling and everyone telling you be of good cheer. It's the most wonderful time.
And that's how we end this Friday's edition of Jamaica Magazine. Thanks for joining us. What did you think of our show? Tell us. Send your comments to jamaicamagazine@jis.gov.jm or tweet at JIS News. You may also visit our website at jis.gov.jm. On behalf of our hardworking team here at the JIS, I'm Adrian Atkinson, reminding you to be wise, stay cool, and do take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.